What is up, cheesers? And welcome to the first video of a new series that I'm calling Save Some Cheddar with Cheddar, where I review fresh, hot, and free games recently released on Steam's marketplace. I'll give a bit of information on the title, show off some gameplay, and at the end of the video, get down to the boss baby business to tell you whether I think you should keep, complete, or delete this title. Without much further explanation, let's hop into our first title, Agryos Recovering Eden. Agryos is a third-person sci-fi bullet hell arena shooter designed in SMU Guildhall, a graduate game design program that's put out a number of free titles on Steam's marketplace. If you've seen some of my older videos, you'll know I'm no stranger to trying out student games, as often you can find some really creative and fun concepts among them. In the case of Agryos, it sits in a similar position to a lot of the student games that I've tried. It's a great concept, with only a few design flaws, but unfortunately it just doesn't present enough content or replayability to warrant holding on to. In Agryos, you take on the role of Naziha, a sci-fi adventuress with a blaster for a hand.
Have we heard this somewhere before?
Who seeks to recover an agricultural superseed called the Branch of Eden from a failed space colony. Along the way, you utilize 3 different firing modes of Nez's trusty arm cannon: a carbine, scatter shot, and disruptor mode, along with your dash and double jump to blast some rogue AI robots and duck, dip, dodge, dive, and dodge past their fire. The core gameplay is relatively well made. I had a lot of fun trying out the unique disruptor mode and weaving my way through enemies in the more difficult rooms. The rooms were expansive and multi-leveled, with a few waves of enemies spawning in and typically a few jump pads to make use of as well. One of the more unique mechanics is the ability to scan and highlight enemies, removing an issue I've run into with other arena shooters, where 1 or 2 pesky little enemies evade your vision long enough to slow down your progression. As for the gameplay flaws, I will say the dash can be a bit jarring, and I think that the acceleration could be tuned there. There also isn't much hit feedback when you are damaged in-game. Most games have a red flash, screen shake, vibration, etc. to let you know when you are damaged. But this game didn't really have anything like that, and could definitely use a Roblox or something along those lines. The environments are unique looking and fun to traverse, though I will say the use of color, reflections, and motion blur in the game is a bit overdone, leaving me feeling overstimulated at times by all the blurry teal gooping up the screen. While we're on the subject of the look of the game, I should also point out that the massive health bars pasted on top of enemies were UGLY, without any crumb of alibi. It probably would have been less noticeable had their size been reduced, or if they were toggleable in the game options. Despite some flaws, I will say I felt this game was pretty fun overall. If I could point out its most glaring weakness, it's the same weakness I run into with a number of student games, and that's the length. After a few rooms that increase in difficulty, you fight a final boss and then that's it. The game wraps up. I could have easily put this in the keep category if there was a simple, endless wave mode that kept spawning enemies until you died, perhaps some procedurally generated elements, a hard mode, or anything else that gave some semblance of replayability. While I'm on the topic of student games, obviously we do need to mention that most of these games are meant to be more demos than they are fully fledged out games. That being said, it would be nice if they were able to include something that gave the game a little bit more replayability. Unfortunately, as the game is, it's a simple 20 to 30 minute jaunt that's more of a demo than a game, leaving me wanting more. For these reasons, I put this game in the complete category. It's fun for what it is, give it a try once if you're interested, but unfortunately, it just doesn't provide enough content to be a real keeper. I do hope the developer will take the concept further, perhaps with a full game or a patch that adds an endless wave mode or something along those lines, because I do think there's a lot to work with here. Well, that's all I really have to cover on this game. As I mentioned, this is a new video format for me, so be sure to give me some feedback in the comments so I know whether to keep or delete this video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay cheesy out there, my friends.